Yo, welcome back to another edition of Madden Simulation. We're up to week 3 of the 2021 NFL season, and Madden's not doing so hot. They got the season opener up correct. Got correctly picking Tampa Bay over Dallas, but the week 1 they whiffed on the Packers win over the Saints. As we all know, the Saints took the Packers to town, and the Saints lost in week 2, but we'll get more of that later. And then last week, week 2's game of the week, it was a thriller. The real one was a thriller, but Madden picked Kansas City was going to beat Baltimore handily, but that didn't go that way. Baltimore got the win in real life, so we'll see how Madden does for week 3 this week. I feel like we got a good one. It's early in the season, which is a little disappointing, but it has long-term ramifications as the reigning, defending, undisputed NFL world champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, head out to the West Coast for a true road test against the Los Angeles Rams, who are trying to fight for domination out there in the West, which 3 of the 4 teams are still undefeated, and it's going to be a doozy. We'll see Matthew Stafford and the newly formed Rams take on Tom Brady, Gronk, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let's get to the action. Still loading, but hey, we're getting there. Here we go. At the new SoFi Stadium, state of the art. I don't know. Those Rams jerseys aren't so bad. Let's see. That should be fine. And I'm trying to remember. No, the Rams had a good week too. Tampa Bay they took on divisional foe Atlanta, and they just put Atlanta in their place. And who did? It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Come on, let's get it right. Well, still have lingering effects of a cold or allergies or something, but doing much better this week than last week. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh no, the Rams survived against the Colts, but they were in the Eastern time zone. Leads the Rams to a late score to win. Okay. But yeah, Cup had 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. I'm looking. He couldn't have 3 touchdowns because it was. No, they had 3. Whatever. Anywho, we'll look back at week 2 in a little bit. Let's just see how these 2 teams do to start off this simulation. Okay, so Tampa Bay kicks off. The Rams will get the ball first.
The NFL is in full swing as off we go on EA Sports. Taking in at the 3.
Woo.
And able to get this out to the 25. Quarterback Matthew Stafford bringing out the LA offense. And Stafford, of course,
and that's the funny thing, just how old faces and new locations, and they're just so much better. Like we knew how good Matthew Stafford was, especially I knew it since the Packers played him twice a year. And don't get me wrong, he's a good quarterback, but just playing for the Lions just hurt him, because the Lions are just a poor franchise. Sure, they made he did lead them to the playoffs 3 times. I think 2011, 2014, and 2016. I think so, 2016. But all 3 times they were 1 and done. They were good enough to make the playoffs as wildcard teams, but couldn't get much after that.
from the gun to give to Henderson.
Quick.
6 yards to pick up, and that's a first down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Okay.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10.
And
They run the toss with Henderson.
in 2011, they finished 11-5. The Lions.
A gain there of 12 yards and a first down LA.
They did tell us they wanted to establish the ground game.
I think 11-5 in 2014 as well. Because I know that week 17 matchup between the Packers and the Lions. If the Lions would have won that game at Lambeau, Matthew Stafford and company would have won the division, would have a first-round bye, but they just fell short, and the Packers won division, got a first-round bye, and took on the team that the Lions lost to. And I mean, Lions being a divisional rival, that's all it is. I'm not really scared of them, but I mean, when we face them, I want the Packers to beat them. But it's just so sad to some extent. Haven't won a championship since the mid-50s. Then there's the curse of, I forget what the name of the curse is, but I think former quarterback cursed them.
It's 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line.
And so anytime they are successful, what was that? Anytime the Lions have success, I'm happy for them. But when their success is against the Packers, then I don't really care. It's the Bears, the Vikings. They have had more success in recent memory. I mean, the Vikings have at least been to 4 Super Bowls. They've lost all 4 times, but they're divisional rivals. They're always fighting for the division. They always play dirty and so forth. The Bears, they've at least won a Super Bowl within the last 50 years. They've been to a Super Bowl within the last 50 years as well. 2 Super Bowls. But I mean, it's always
and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
Always they're more 1 and 2 when it comes to divisional rivals for the Packers. Lions, they're just like, what? I want to know, because I'm the youngest of my family, an annoying little brother or cousin that just hangs around. It's like you don't really care about. Like, they're there, and when they do succeed, like, yeah, then I care a little bit, but is this what I want? Yeah, this is what I want. Yeah, the Lions did finish 11-5 in 2014. And so, field goal attempt, and it's good. No good? See, this camera angle here, you can't tell. You missed it to the left, okay. Now I'm doing my best Paul Allen impersonation, what I'll get to later.
Back now comes Tampa Bay.
So they march all the way down. Well, they didn't march that far down the field and kick a field goal and miss. Now Tom Brady and company.
Partner doesn't seem like it, but that's a tough spot for a kicker. First drive of the game, and they're calling on him. He should be warmed up. He should be into the game, but sometimes it's almost like, oh, what, now already? Can't they put it in the end zone? What's going
whatever.
Yeah, he's probably saying if you can't get it in the end zone,
Trash talking the kickers now. Hey, kickers are athletes too. Hey.
Here's Ronald Jones, first carry for the USC man, and he'll be brought down at the 50.
I will say it is kind of funky seeing all these single digits, lower double digits on defense, and in the backfield. But I mean, it's like it's nothing new. I mean, when I go back and look at the Packers, Vince Lombardi's days. I mean, Paul Hornung, he was number 5. So it's not like they never had, running backs with single digits before. And then there's like Willie Davis. He wore 87. He was a linebacker. But the single digits on defenses still throwing me off a little bit. But I mean, unless you're Tom Brady, it's going to confuse everybody. Defense has the advantage. And it's like, really, Tom? If you can't tell, are you colorblind? I know we talked about this last time. Wide open. Like, I don't know when the NFL imposed the numbers for players, but the first player that broke that code, didn't really break it, but had the exception was Keyshawn Johnson. I remember that. I think he was 19. He gets drafted by the Jets, and I think all the 80s were either taken up or retired. I don't know what number they would retire if it was 80, but Keyshawn Johnson, he wore 19, so he had the exception. So he could stick with that number even if he went to a different team, I believe. So I'm used to seeing wide receivers wearing single digits, especially within the last decade or so, because the Packers themselves, they had Randall Cobb. He was the first one really that I remember. He wore 18. And then, of course, Devontae Adams, he's 17. But the single digits still throw me off. I still think of kickers and punters and quarterbacks. I'm just trying to think sometimes. Oh, geez, yeah, you can't stop Gronk like that. Touchdown, just like that, Tampa Bay. So I mean, we'll see. And I always want, like, I got my favorite number. And I like, anytime I do create a player and so forth, I like to have my player wear that number. And, like, I would like to see someone, like, where, I want to see 0 and 00. I hope they make a comeback in the NFL. I don't know if they have that in the college ranks or not. I know the NBA allows 0. Their numbers too. And just like that, Tampa Bay does short field. You can't give the Buccaneers a short field. And what, Tom Brady's on pace of breaking the single season touchdown record again, with like 70 touchdowns with how many he's throwing, and especially with an extra game. Okay, so LA's going to get the ball back. The Rams.
This will be fielded inside the 5. And they'll start this drive.
And I know well, maybe not here, but I've said before, like, okay, so Tampa Bay, obviously, they won the Super Bowl last year. And we all know that all asterisk season, because, you know, COVID, it's like, well, we can't have traveling. The Super Bowl's in Tampa Bay this year. Oh, let's just let the Buccaneers win it all, because it's so much easier. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Believe what you want.
Let's face it, we've been there, we've seen teams before.
But I mean, I'm happy for the city, because they hadn't seen a playoff victory since 2002. So, like, franchises, some franchises I really don't have grudges for. Like, Tampa Bay's not really that successful of a franchise, and Tampa Bay was a former divisional rival for Packers when they had the old NFC Central days. But I mean, I have really no grudge against the Buccaneers. I have really no grudge against the Rams, unless they are good, then I hate them. But that comes and goes. But like, if the Rams went on to win the Super Bowl and beat the Packers on their way to win the Super Bowl, I'll be happy for. I don't know if I would really be happy for the city of Los Angeles, but the franchise itself, I'm still a little a little frustrated how that happened, how the Rams moved, came back to Los Angeles, and it always, as a sports fan, it always annoys me about you have a sports team, a sports franchise within the four major sports. Within the four major sports: the NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. Okay, and a team is playing in a rundown, beat up stadium. Okay, and they need either renovations or a new facility. And you take the Rams, for example. They were playing in St. Louis in the, what was it, the Edward James Dome now? And they better get the first down. And he's going to get sacked. Oh, man, he lost 15 yards. 14. You just need inches. But anyways, the Rams were playing in St. Louis in a horrible dome. And well, the current owner, whatever, he more or less said that St. Louis was a piece of trash and so forth. And when you have an owner that doesn't want to play in the city that they're in right now, you know they're not going to stick around. And the NFL gave him permission to, okay, yeah, whatever, you can build a stadium out there. But then you also have the cities like, well, we have this proposal to either renovate the dome or build a new stadium, but we need approval from the city, we need a vote and so forth. And when the vote is no, public vote, it's like, well, obviously you don't have support from the community. You don't have they don't care about the revenue and so forth. Like, but the taxes, like, I get the taxes, but I feel the pros and cons. The pros outweigh the cons. Like, over time, that should all get flurry in and that all comes back to you. But I mean, I don't know. At least St. Louis that's still more of a baseball city anyways, I think. You got the Cardinals, they're successful in the National League. You have the Blues, who just won a Stanley Cup a handful of years ago. I don't know how big their hockey lineage is, but I mean, for like the Rams, it was a combination of the owner did not want to be in St. Louis anymore. The fans there, they wanted them to stay, but they moved back out to LA, where they were most of their existence. I mean, technically the Rams were founded in Cleveland. Then they moved out to LA. They put one of the first teams out to play on the West Coast. And then it wasn't until the mid-90s they moved to St. Louis, and that's where they had their most success. They won a Super Bowl when they were in St. Louis, the greatest show on turf. Whew. So, I mean, and I just found out they made a movie about Kurt Warner. Which at some point I'm sure I'll watch. But then you have like the Raiders. The Raiders are another story when it comes to cities not wanting them and or willing to pay for their home. Just the city of Oakland in general. Okay. Oakland had the Golden State Warriors playing over there in the Oracle. You had the Raiders, and you still have the Athletics, which I don't know when did the Oakland Athletics moved out to Oakland. So from Rams territory now, it's 1st and 10. Because I mean, I think the Raiders were founded in Oakland, but then they moved to Los Angeles without the NFL's approval. But it's like, well, Oakland's not doing what they want for me right now, so we're moving to LA. So yeah, the LA Raiders and the LA Rams. But then by 95, there was no team in LA. Now we got two again. Nice deflection.
And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not.
They became the Oakland Athletics in '68. So okay, that was over 50 years. Okay. 53. They're 53 years out in Oakland. Okay, and the team was founded in 1901. So.
They'll get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues.
Another catch for him there on this
But that's the Athletics, and they're still in Oakland at the moment. But how things are going, they might not be in Oakland much longer after this season. But the Raiders, they were founded in Oakland. The city didn't want to do anything for them, and Al Davis. It was a combination of the thing that Al Davis just wanted to move. They moved to LA, okay, and they played in Los Angeles, and they moved back to Oakland. And when did the Rams move? Basically, like the Rams, the Chargers, and the Raiders, all their stadiums were coming up for leases. They needed new stadiums, basically. They were out of date. And the sad thing with the Chargers, they were playing in the second oldest. They had the second longest tenure in the same stadium behind the Packers and Lambeau Field. And they got the Rams and the Chargers. Incomplete. Yeah, his feet did not come in bounds. At least both of them didn't. The Chargers and the Rams were approved to move to Los Angeles, and they both built new. The Rams and Rams and Chargers are sharing the same stadium, which is this one, SoFi, state of the art. Which I'm a sucker for the legendary stadiums. We got this time.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Tom Brady with 2 first-quarter touchdowns.
Like, I'm a sucker for the old school stadiums, like Lambeau Field, because the history, the legacy. Like, I would love to go to Fenway. I'd love to go to Wrigley. If Yankee Stadium was still around, I'd love to go to Yankee Stadium. I'd love to go to Soldier Field, even though they renovated it.
You got to make sure to just hold in there.
I mean, first and foremost, they're booth reviewing it. I would love to go see a football game in all the current stadiums. That's a touchdown if the right foot dragged.
How's the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all.
We'll see what the call says. Yeah, of course they'll boo because they're on the road. Trying to think some of the other older stadiums in the NFL and/or baseball. I've been to American Family Field, aka Miller Park. I like to go to Busch Stadium. I would love to have gone to the Joe Louis Arena, but I think that's been destroyed. But I mean, would like to go all to that, but just for historical purposes. But I would love to go to SoFi. I'd love to go to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. I'd like to go to, is it US Bank where the Vikings play? Just because they're new and improved and so forth. Or Alliance Stadium out in Las Vegas. And that's the other thing, going back to my Raiders talk, okay? When the city of Oakland said, no, we're not approving for you to build a new stadium here or renovating the Coliseum. It's like, fine. Mark Davis, like, okay, we got plot of land out in Las Vegas. We're building a stadium out there, the Death Star. And, like, that is supposed to be one of the new highly advanced rated stadiums. And to some degree, that's the first time ever the Raiders have a stadium, a home built for them. No one else is sharing it. The Coliseum was the last football/baseball stadium where you had the dirt, the infamous baseball field on the football field. I don't know how many back in the day. I mean, Oakland, Miami, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. I don't know Cincinnati. I think they had separate stadiums. Busch Stadium when the Cardinals used to play in St. Louis, as in the St. Louis football team. Who else? There's San Francisco, the Giants and the 49ers at 3Com Park, or whatever it was you want to call it, shared. The Padres and the Chargers at Qualcomm. I don't know if the Mariners and the Seahawks played in the same stadium. They both played in the Kingdom Dome. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, those were the days. And then you had the AstroTurf, where you're playing baseball and football on concrete, more or less. Let's see, Kingdom Dome.
On first down,
Oh,
it's Henderson, and just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up.
I know the speed is the
Oh, come on.
NFL game, but the
Fine, let's go Seattle Mariners.
From the gun.
Oh, it's just called the Kingdom, not Kingdom Dome. Because they're in King County, I know that. So yeah, oh, get out of there. 201 South King Street, nice. King County, see? Oh, jeez. The Supersonics also played there. So yeah, the Mariners and the Seahawks both played there at the same time. So also, we're 1 quarter down. 14-0 Tampa Bay. I mean, okay, so the Rams, they had a close one against Indianapolis in week 2. Week 1, they took care of the Bears. We're going to look over week 2 and look at standings and all that in a little bit. And in the second half, we'll do my pick'ems. See how we're doing. Ooh. So it's 2nd and 10 on this drive. I mean, the Rams, they're built on defense. They got their reliable quarterback, veteran quarterback in Matthew Stafford, who's now been in the league for 13 years. 2009 was his first season, so 2018 would be 10, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, this is 13th year in his. So he's not a young duck, but he's veteran. He's a great quarterback, and he's surrounded by great people. So now they have their quarterback. Nothing against Jared Goff, but where Goff gets drafted. Oh, excuse me. He gets drafted. Fisher is still their head coach, but he's like, nope, you're sitting the bench all season. Okay. And then once Sean McVay takes over, boom, he's Goff is lights out, but then he's struggled again. So who has been their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator? Not defense coordinator wouldn't make any difference. Who's been their offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, and so on and so forth. All that stuff is crucial to a young quarterback. Oh, sweep. Okay, so let's take a look at standings right now in the NFL. We're 2 weeks in. The NFC and AFC West are still dominating everything. If Seattle just would have paid the refs off just a little bit more, they would have had both divisions would still be undefeated. Well, I shouldn't say that. The NFC West could still stay undefeated. The Chargers and Chiefs came up short, while the Broncos and the Raiders are still undefeated. So okay, let's start in the AFC. In the East, oh, they got him, sack. Now, will their kicker actually make it this time? So in the AFC East, this is how it shapes up. The Bills, they bounced back. They're 1-1. Miami, they're 1-1 because they got shut out by the Bills. New England, they bounced back. They're 1-1, and the Jets are 0-2. And there's no surprise there. Okay, let's see if they actually make the field goal this time. A 47-yarder. Kick is up, and it is. He makes it. Okay, so. In the AFC North, we have a 4-way tie. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati are all 1-1. Baltimore and Cleveland got their wins, while Pittsburgh and Cincinnati both lost this week. AFC South, Houston and Tennessee are 1-1, while Jacksonville and Indianapolis bring up the rear at 0-2. And on the AFC West, we have the Las Vegas Raiders and Denver Broncos are 2-0. And while Kansas City and the Chargers are 1-1. Denver's a little surprising, because I think they still have an okay defense. It's their quarterback situation. Or last year, excuse me, where last year, they had one game where their quarterbacks couldn't play because of COVID protocol. Yeah, you gotta cover that tight end. Oh, he fouled his way that way. He toe tapped. So Denver's a little surprised in my opinion. Chiefs, I mean, they, early season struggles. That's always that's nothing new. Some teams just start off slow, and then when the season gets going, when you get November, December, you just rolling, and you're getting that hot streak. You getting to find your grooves. I mean, look at down goes Brady. He thought that was a teammate because he was wearing single digits. Oh, Ramsey's now wearing number 5. See, like that's the other thing that annoyed me, though. Is I'm fine with all the different number changing stuff like that, but when you're right in the league, and then you decide to change your number, it's like that gives me a headache.
Another try after the first down sack. Brady, he'll drop this underneath for Jones.
But anyways, getting back to the standings, like Chiefs, slow start. Chargers, I'm expecting better from them. I've always considered the Chargers the worst team in the league, where they have everything but just find a way to lose. They always find a way to lose. Okay, let's go to the flip side on the NFC. NFC East. Well, let's watch this third down play first. Plenty of time. Oh, and Gronk stepped out short. Looks like, yep, 4th and 1. Here comes the punt.
The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th.
Now that's going to be a tough one to explain when they get together and watch the game film, isn't it?
Yes, it's going to be so hard to explain, especially when the computer just does what the computer does. Okay, NFC East, Washington, Philadelphia, and Dallas are all 1-1. And the New York Football Giants are 0-2. Shucks. Where I just saw a meme like for the last 6-7 years, the Giants started the season 0-2.
It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return, and the Rams will go on offense here.
NFC North, we actually have some winners. The Packers and the Bears are 1-1. While Detroit and Minnesota are 0-2. And those poor Vikings. And this, okay, the Vikings could easily be 2-0 if they didn't fumble the ball in Cincinnati in overtime. And 2, if they would have had a kicker that could make a field goal. Set Cup.
Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down. Boy, an effective play there, getting their wideouts involved in the run game.
Because, I mean, Minnesota, like I said, they forced overtime against Cincinnati week 1. Tough game that they let Cincinnati get an early lead. They came back. They forced overtime. They both had opportunities.
I need to clarify. I said getting their wideouts involved in the run game, but of course that was actually a pass as he popped it forward. A good gain again.
They both had opportunities in overtime. Minnesota had looked like they had a cakewalk, but then they fumbled it. Cincinnati recovered it. Cincinnati went down the field, kicked the game winner as time expired. This past week, they went out to the desert to take on Arizona. I thought Arizona was going to have a nice. They were going to take care of business. That's because how they played against Tennessee. It was Minnesota who jumped out to a large lead. Arizona fought back. They had the lead, but Minnesota had the ball last. And as time expires, they try a game-winning field goal, and he shanks it to the right. And if you listen to the Vikings radio announcer, Paul Allen, anytime the Vikings messed up, he is so great to listen to. He is so immersed into it. You feel the pain. Excuse me. Because as he's doing the broadcast, it's like the kick is up and it's good. No, he missed it. No, he missed it. No. Just first thing, it was good. And then all this exciting, yes, we won. And then it's like, no, he missed. He missed it. No. And like I said, like watching in here earlier, it looked like it was good, but just missed it just because of the angle. If you don't have the right angle, it's hard to tell. But just how he thought they won was wrong, and it's just, And then there's at least 2 other great ones of agony, because he brings the definition of agony of defeat. If you ever listen to his call where Brett Favre throws the interception in the NFC Championship game against the Saints, that was a great call to hear agony of defeat. And then back in 2003, I think it was, the Vikings versus Arizona on the desert. Arizona's going for needs a game-winning touchdown. Vikings win, they're in the playoffs. They lose, they're out. And it was McCown. McCown was the quarterback for the Cardinals at the time. Rolls out, throws it, gets, ball's caught. Guy gets pushed out, and they got a push-out rule back there, and just, So I really encourage you to go look those up. But anyways, back to the standings. The Vikings could easily be 2-0. NFC South, you got the reigning champions, Tampa Bay. They're 2-0. No cakewalk week 1. Cowboys took them to the limits. But cakewalk last week against the Falcons. Hey, Rams are making a game now. A little surprising on this one though. Carolina, they're 2-0. But they played the Jets week 1, and like I said last week on here, it's like the Panthers are going to come out and they're going to beat the Saints, and I hope they beat them bad, and they did. And it's like, so what does that say? So are the Saints for real? Are being displaced from home? Is that putting much issues on the Saints? Because they're 1-1 now, and the Atlanta Falcons, no surprise here, are 0-2, and that's has been a dumpster fire since leading in the Super Bowl 28-3. They've never been the same. Just like the Giants when they took that picture on that yacht, they have never been the same, which ironically was the same year.
After the touchdown, it's Gay to kick this one away. To return is Jadon Mickens.
And then last but not least, what I believe is the best division in football today, the NFC West. The Niners are 2-0, the Rams are 2-0, the Cardinals are 2-0, and the Seahawks are 1-1. Oh, excuse me. Just talking. I still got something, so I got a bunch of phlegm flopping all around. So that's why I'm still trying to drink as much water as possible. Gotta stay healthy, gotta stay hydrated. Whew.
Brady gonna bring the Bucs up with a 1st and 10 at their own 27.
Oh, they got him, Aaron Donald. So, okay. Oh, and Mike Evans is hurt. So, looking at the standings, there are only 2 teams undefeated left in the West, in the AFC. And those 2 teams are surprising in my mind. Denver and Las Vegas. And if I had to choose a pretender and a contender, Denver's the pretender. Las Vegas, they're the contenders in my mind. Because ever since Gruden came back to coach, he's been able to get this team on the right foot. And with Carr as their quarterback, they're good. But okay, no, one more thing. They beat Pittsburgh. They took care of Pittsburgh. It wasn't like Baltimore week 1. They went into Pittsburgh this week and they got the lead and they hung on to it. Denver, I'm not sure about Denver. But I mean, other pretenders and contenders. No, crossing route. I mean, the Bills, they got back on the right track and just took care of business against Miami. AFC North, that's wide open, and Bengals in my mind, they're pretenders. Pittsburgh, I don't know how they went to Buffalo week 1. Intercepted because he's wearing single digits. I don't know about Pittsburgh. Never really been a big Pittsburgh fan. But how they went to Buffalo, beat Buffalo week 1, but then they come back home where they have a great home field advantage, and they just didn't really lay egg. They just came up short. Came up short against the Raiders. Cleveland, they bounced back. Baltimore, they bounced back. They could have been easily 2-0. Since, like I said, Cincinnati, I think they're pretenders. They'll get some hand more. I really thought they would go in to Chicago because Chicago sucks in my mind.
Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were to do it on the last drive, starting
AFC South, I don't know about South. Houston might be the surprise. I didn't take this in consideration when I did my predictions to start the season, when I did my records. But it's like, well, they have a huge turnover. They have a whole new coaching staff, and that does make a difference. It does make a difference, and I didn't take that into consideration because I do my proper research on on the Texans. So they might be a surprise because the new coaching staff, new turnover rate of players. I think like the whole at least 50% of the team is new. They don't have Deshaun Watson's sitting on the. It's not even sitting on the sidelines. He's sitting at home. So they have all distractions away, and so it's a fresh start for them. Ooh. And yeah, NFC East. Who knows? Who knows there? Giants could still come back to win, but Washington, because Washington had a close game against Giants Thursday night last week, and I thought he missed. I thought Washington's kicker missed. Then I turned off the TV. Then I come and find out, oh, Giants were offside. And they got the game-winning field goal, and 5 yards closer and so forth. It's like, what I missed. Philadelphia, they're more of a contender at the moment. Those three teams are all contenders. Giants, they're pretenders at the moment. How did you not hang on to that? Any four of those teams could win the East. In the NFC North, it's still the Packers to lose. Let's be honest. Yeah, they didn't show up week 1. Week 2, they were playing the Lions. Let's be honest, at home. The Lions have a horrible track record in Lambeau since the early 90s. Since 92, they've only won 3 times in the state of Wisconsin. But Detroit are pretenders. I don't even want to call them pretenders. Minnesota are still contenders. Even being down 0-2, they still have a chance. It's just falling down 0-2. Those 2 games are going to make a huge difference later on. Especially losing to a conference opponent. Arizona now has a tiebreaker over Minnesota. The loss to Cincinnati doesn't make that much of a difference. Chicago, right now, Chicago in my mind are pretenders. They got the defense, but do they have the offense is the question. I mean, Andy Dalton got hurt, so Justin Fields came in. Not saying he was perfect, but he got the job done against Cincinnati. But you're playing Cincinnati, who are not really, they're fighting for a winning season, if anything. They're not fighting for a playoff spot. They're not going to be playing for AFC title game. They're not going to the Super Bowl this year.
2nd and 7. Now Brady. Got a man. It's Brown. Second catch for him.
On the NFC South, Tampa Bay, obviously they're contenders. Their record reflects who they are. Carolina 2-0. At the moment, they're pretenders in my mind. They need to get some key wins. I mean, they beat the Jets and they beat the Saints. They play Houston this Thursday. And, I mean, I'd probably go with Carolina on that one.
Looking to throw. Brady.
Ooh.
Caught on the right side by Jones. And he gets this to the 35. Good for a gain of 5.
But new coaching staff, new quarterback, and Sam Darnold. Now we get to see if it's the player or the franchise that ruined quarterbacks' or players' careers. Sam Darnold was drafted by the Jets. He sucked in New York. Now he's in Carolina, and he's doing wonderful things. Quick. Saints, they're pretenders in my mind at the moment. Because you saw what happened in week 1. Hype, so forth. Yeah, we did it. We blew the Packers out. Then you went to Carolina divisional foe and you got your butt spanked. And Atlanta sucks. Their record reflects them. And then out west, San Francisco. They're contenders. They're healthy, but I'm a little iffy here. Their first 2 games were on the road on the East Coast or Eastern Time Zone. First game against Detroit, they had a huge lead and they let Detroit come back. But I mean, you placed off in the second half and so forth. And they won by 8. Then they went out and played Philadelphia, and you won by 7 or 6. It was like 17 to 11. You won by 6. So I mean, Eagles are still in it. But yeah, again, East Coast, 1 o'clock. Wide open. So Mike Evans came back from the injury. Oh. So I mean, both games are 1 o'clock Eastern time. That's a 3-hour shift from the West Coast because it's 1, noon, 11, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock on the West Coast normally. And this week, they are at home, first home game, with fans in stands over 2 years or whatever because the whole COVID stuff.
So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
And we'll see if and he down goes Brady. We'll see if home field advantage makes a difference. Packers go out to the West Coast, take on their recent nemesis. I mean, they won last year. Packers beat the 49ers last year, but that's because the Niners were riddled with injuries. So even knowing the Packers got revenge on the Niners after the Niners beat their butts twice the year prior in the regular season and in the championship game. And we'll see if who's pretending and who's contending. Both the Packers and Niners, in my mind, are contenders.
Going for it all. And that is incomplete.
Then you got the Rams. They're 2-0. They barely got past the Colts. Ooh, they got a tough schedule coming up. They're hosting the Buccaneers. They're hosting Buccaneers. They host the Cardinals, and then they go to Seattle. And at most, I think they can get 2 wins out of those 3.
From the gun, it's Brady. Right side,
but this is going to be a tough game.
The Rams going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts.
But I think it's going to be a good one. That's why it's the game of the week.
50 seconds to go in the first half.
Then Arizona, they're 2-0. I think that perfectly reflects their contenders in my mind. But I did not watch the game against the Vikings, but I heard that Arizona's offensive line sucks. And if it doesn't improve, it might be a long season for Kyle Murray. And then you got Seattle, who's 1-1. They easily could have been 2-0. And they just fell short against the Titans. And they're contenders. I have all 4 teams in the NFC West making the playoffs this year. Just had to get some vitamin C or something to suck on to help with this. Saliva, mucus, whatever intake. It is what it is, if you know what I mean.
This taken in at the goal line. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25.
So let's enjoy the rest of this half. Might sneak off to take a little head to the restrooms at halftime, just like everyone else, and be back when the half returns, and then we'll do my pick'ems. Review how I did last week. I did better this past week than week 1, I'll tell you that for sure. But it's since we're 2 weeks in, we're getting a little comfortable of how teams are playing and who's who, but still week to week thing. You call timeout to save time on the clock to get the ball back, but then you start off with a little screen pass. What does that even do? So now it's 2nd and 10. You have 38 seconds and 1 timeout. You got to move the ball upfield.
Throwing again on 2nd down.
And you still throw it to your running back, and you got to hurry up now. And this is just a Madden thing. They're not going to be huddling, and they waste their last timeout now.
The clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the first half.
Sure, whatever.
The Bucs with an extra defender now in the secondary here on 3rd down. Out of the gun, Stafford.
Why would you cut back in? Now you have no timeouts. You didn't run to the out of bounds. Clock is ticking. It might be 5. Not even. No, it's going to go to halftime, so I'm going to the bathroom.
So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Buccaneers out on top. As we send you to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach?
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. It's something we've said a million times, but we were treated to a fine performance in the first half from Tom Brady. He's thrown for over 200 yards already, and his guys have the lead as well. As we get you back to Brandon Gaudin.
Okay, Coach. Appreciate it. A 1-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the second half. Bucs with a lead, and they'll get the football first as the second half is underway. The return is Mickens. And he won't quite make it to the 25. Out come the Buccaneers. They'll have it first to start in the 3rd quarter. And they've got the lead. CD, what do you think the message was at halftime?
I don't think the message was too drastic, I think, at the half, or that they need to change things too much. I do think the offensive line could play a little bit better. I think they'll try and help them out more. They'll probably keep a tight end in a few more times and maybe add a running back to the formation and pick up those pass rushers, because they probably allowed a few too many sacks for comfort in the first half.
Brady and the Bucs now with a
okay, so we're back from halftime, 17-10. And Tampa Bay gets the ball first. We'll watch the opening drives, and then we'll get into predictions for this upcoming week.
ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually
a little
get
chilly in my recording room.
Horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this
But
margin.
I'd rather be.
From the 30
Oh
on
no,
second
yeah, I'd rather be
down, Brady.
cold and stay warm than warm and try and get cold.
Man, he missed him, incomplete.
What?
Evans, the one he was looking for. And it's 3rd and 5. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
Now a first carry for Giovanni Bernard.
That
And he will have a first down as they
when
get him to the
when
ground
that's
at
against
the
my
37.
defense, I get annoyed the crap out of that. When it's 3rd and long and you hand the ball off and you can't stop the rush, and he gets the first down, run the ball on 3rd and long. It's like, come on.
Push forward, pick up that first. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Oh. Put that away. I don't need that out.
From the gun, it's Brady. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
The nose passes piss me off too. You know? You get the crossing route. All you gotta do is throw it ahead of the receiver, not by much, and you just overthrow him. No one near him, catch him, they turn upfield, get 5-7 yards.
What's going on here?
Just like that incomplete pass, I'm going to try to tighten things up here for this next play.
I got enough hydration for me.
So it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. Pretty good little 2-play sequence.
Let's see how good this defense is. I mean,
yeah, now maybe bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend.
Joseph Days.
They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
Throwing is Brady on 3rd down.
They got him. Now we'll see if Rams will get the ball back, and we'll see if the Rams can turn things around and tie this game up.
They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line, but once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
That's an interesting arm brace.
Here's Bradley Pinion now,
brace.
as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time.
Decent punt. Doesn't wait fair catch, and he gets blasted.
A 40-yard punt, no return, and the Rams will be backed up deep to begin the drive as they take over 1st and 10. Getting set to go again here, Robert Woods marches back.
I don't remember what Woods' number was prior to him changing it to 2.
Got time here to make this a great game, but so far he's been solid.
I like where you're going with that because it has been pretty good.
Because I mean,
But there's always that
you look at the other 3 major sports:
and right now
hockey,
they feel like
baseball, and
they're
basketball.
somewhat keeping him in
They don't
check.
have number
He has
restrictions.
found the end zone once, but boy, he can
So,
explode at any moment.
Yeah, and when you hit that
now
end zone
football's
once, you
losing it,
wanna find
and it's nice to see that actually.
Makes you hungrier.
Oh, he's
He's
oh.
taken down. Back at his own 7. Oh, free safety blitz. That can be a gamble, but it proves fruitful there.
Yeah, you're exactly right about
Okay,
that.
why you showed Jalen Ramsey?
Safety is the last line
And
of defense
no
against
one
the
blocked him,
Wildcats.
unblocked,
Comes at the quarterback,
running
you
up the
better get
field,
home and make the
boom.
play. Otherwise, a big play could result for the offense.
So now you're 2nd long at your own 7. You need
Got an edge, and
18.
the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. Another try after the first down sack.
Doesn't matter, he's gone.
Right side complete.
93 yards, touchdown pass, and the Rams are a point away from tying it.
Robert Woods.
Interesting way, nice dramatic way of doing it.
The Rams are an extra point away from tying
And
up
just
this
like
one.
that, that's what we want. We want these competitive games.
Deep in their home territory, all the way
That's one reason why this is the game of the week, baby.
I'm not sure they expected to score, but they also show that they're not averse to taking a little bit of a risk there, right? Taking a chance, because the normal call is take care of the football, run it, be safe. Instead, they put it in the air and took a gamble, and it paid off in a big way. That wasn't an analytics call. That wasn't a fantasy guy's call. That was like a video game call right there.
Snap, place, kick is up and good. Okay.
Extra point by Gay is up and good.
2 plays, 85 yards. Yeah. Technically, yes, but it's still a 93-yard touchdown pass. Catch and run, I should say. $90-yard catch and run. See, worded that way. Now, like Aaron Rodgers' Hail Mary 6 years ago, that was a pass. That was, 60-something yards. This was, I don't know, was it a 20-yard pass and a 73-yard run? But still, that's still passing yards, and that's still receiving yards. Where you could either... Ooh. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Had a great lunch, though. Nothing beats KFC, let's be honest. Fried chicken. Who doesn't like fried chicken? Except you vegans out there. You can have fried kale, I guess.
Not looking for the dramatics here. Not trying to set the world on fire in terms of stats. It's almost like you're driving. Hands at 10 and 2.
Yeah, well, whatever there. Okay, let's get to the games for the week, this upcoming week.
And making sure you get the team home.
The bus driver. See if he can drive the bus here again on this drive. Brady now on first down.
Tie game where it's all... I know I haven't made my picks for this week.
29, a gain of 4. They'll contain him to just 4. Second down.
So last week, I went 11-5, which was much better than the week prior where I went 7-9. So I'm at least on the plus side. I am total. Week 3. We're in week 3. My overall record is 18-14. All 32 teams are still playing. We have a Thursday night game. We got 14 Sunday games and 1 Monday night football. We start with Thursday night football, and it's Carolina at Houston. And like I said earlier, I got to take Carolina. Carolina seems to, right now, they're pretenders in my mind. They are 2-0. And they played against some easier opponents. Not saying Houston is a juggernaut of a team, but they're just an easy opponent, just like the other two. But Carolina seem like they're committed. Houston, they're home. They beat Jacksonville week 1, and then they took it to Cleveland week 2. They had a good game against Cleveland. Oh, there we go. And so Houston might pull the upset here, but I gotta go with Carolina. Carolina, I think, is a more team in rhythm. They know where they're at. Houston, I think they might be pushing for at least a winning record. Okay, now we go to Sunday's actions. We got Washington at Buffalo. And here we go. If the Buffalo team that showed up in Miami this past week shows up at home, where they, well, it doesn't matter where the game was last week. I think it was in.
On first down, it's Jones, and he'll lose yardage. At the 32, 2 yards the loss, second and 12.
Yeah, it was in Miami. So yeah. If it depends on which Buffalo team showed up. I really thought Buffalo would be 2-0 right now. They would beat Pittsburgh because they were the home team. Okay? But no, I'm going with Buffalo. Buffalo's home. Washington just isn't quite there. They had struggles against the Giants. Giants aren't that good of a team. Were they in Washington or were they in New York last week? Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter anyways. I'm going with the Bills. Bills are getting back on the right track. Potential MVP Josh Allen gets it done with his buddy Diggs. Chicago at Cleveland. This is a toughie. This is a toughie in my opinion. If Cleveland wants to make, everyone's diehard. Seems like everyone's picked to make at least the AFC Championship game, the Cleveland Browns. If they want to prove that they are the team to beat in the AFC North, they need to take care of business and beat the Bears at home in the dog pound. Okay? But Chicago can be that tricky team. They got the defense. It's just they don't quite have the offense. And if Justin Fields, he returns to Ohio. He already beat Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's closer to Columbus. I know Cleveland's nowhere near Columbus. But he returns to the state of Ohio, where those Buckeye fans run wild throughout the state. But if Cleveland wants to be a contender, they got to take care of the Bears. So give me Cleveland. Another AFC NFC matchup this weekend. Baltimore at Detroit. And I gotta go with the Ravens. Ravens are sure they're on the road again, but they're taking on Detroit. Detroit is not that good of a team. I mean, the Packers shut Detroit out in the second half of that game. It just depends if Baltimore gets a golf and get them unsteady and so forth. If the Ravens can jump out to an early lead, they'll coast. So first and goal now at the 3. Okay, Indianapolis at Tennessee. Here we go. Actually, oh man, I don't know about here. Titans are not. They struggled the first 2 weeks. And now I'm leaning towards an upset here. This might be one of my upsets of the week. Indianapolis isn't half bad, but they still have quarterback issues. But somehow Carson Wentz sprained both his ankles on the same play. Touchdown.
And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Ronald Jones, a 3-yard touchdown.
And the Colts, they're both home games though. They lost. They're 0-2 because they lost to the Seahawks and they lost to the Rams, Seattle and LA, and kept it close. But now they're going on the road. They're going to Tennessee, but Tennessee lost to Arizona at home. They beat Seattle. Did they beat Seattle?
Suck up for the extra point.
No, it's not. Dang it. God, I just love these buttons.
Take a 7-point lead now.
That was in Seattle too, so okay.
11 plays all told. And it's Ronald Jones that polishes it off with a touchdown run.
So, and you would think King Henry would run wild on Indianapolis, but it's a divisional opponent. Divisional foes are always the trickiest because you never know how they're going to play. Even when, I was talking about earlier, Detroit always been a little thorn. They're not concerned about Detroit, but they're always a thorn for the Packers because they'll find a way, especially in Detroit, to beat them. But since Tennessee is the home team, I got to go with the Titans. Titans are my Super Bowl pick. I gotta ride them. We'll see how the rest of the season turns out. Right now, they're still contenders in my book. But that C can easily turn to a P, and they can easily become pretenders.
Getting set to go again here, Robert Woods marches back onto the field. Seems like the measuring stick for a receiver for a great game is 100 yards. Well, he's well past that now.
And as we analyze how he's getting him, that's where it really becomes.
Okay, moving on. We got LA Chargers at Kansas City Chiefs. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs can bounce back. They're at home. How often do they lose at home, okay? It is another divisional opponent. Chargers, if they want to make any impact in the West. How does he not get sacked? Was it third and one? Second one. Chargers coming out to KC. KC's home. They gotta bounce back. Can't say you can bounce back. Baltimore and Chargers are not quite on the same level.
Second down,
he lost yards.
And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line.
So
he winds up giving a yard back there, and now it's 3rd and 2.
I gotta go with the Chargers here.
Extra tight ends, extra beef.
Oh man, Freudian slip right there. I gotta go with the Chiefs. Chiefs bounce back. They win. They beat the divisional rivals. That's sometimes what you need to do. Here's some good tricky ones. Coming up. New Orleans at New England. I'm telling you, week 1 was a fluke. Week 1 was a fluke for the Saints. The Saints are not a playoff team. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to fall short from making the playoffs.
3rd and 2, Stafford. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Woods.
The Patriots, they have better leadership on that front line. They have an offensive line. Yes, they do have a rookie quarterback, but they have reliable running backs. They have a reliable front line. Check down. New England's home, so I got to go with the home team. 9 times out of 10, I will go with the home team if it's a close one. Just like the most bettors. So, New England. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Atlanta at New York. The Giants, taking on the Giants. Giants, they didn't get... I got to remember their week 1 game against Denver. I mean, last week they were playing a divisional foe. He's sacked. It's 2nd and 4. And then you lose 9 yards. Okay, so in week 1, Denver won 27-13. Last week they barely lost against the Washington team. Atlanta, though, on both sides have been blown out. They're on the road. But yeah, I gotta go with the home team. I'm sticking with the Giants. He's gonna get sacked again. Wow, this offensive line ain't doing nothing. And show Jalen Ramsey once again. So it's 4th and 28. There's no one there blocking them. Matthew Stafford be like, I thought I left Detroit. It's been a variety, and they've had no way of blocking them. Ooh, I can go with the upset here. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. It's like, what type of team is going to show up for Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's home. They lost against an old rival in the Raiders. They're the Raiders. Raiders and Steelers, they've had a huge rivalry back in the day. Ever since the Steelers joined the newly formed AFC, when the merger happened in the 70s, Steelers go from the NFL to the AFL side / AFC. And ever since they moved to the AFC conference. They've been players dominant. They've won the most Super Bowls. Well, tied now, right? Because now New England won 6 and Steelers have won 6, but not most NFL championships. Let's not get technical though. Woo! Technicalities. I ain't deeply getting technicalities if you want me to. Man, so sorry about those coughs. But it depends on which team is going to show up in Pittsburgh. What type of team is going to show up in Pittsburgh? Are the Steelers going to show up? The team that started the season 11-0 last year, that is a Super Bowl contender every single year since the 1970s? Or are they just going to be the Blunder Bowl and show up and just fall short against their divisional rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals? The Bengals are a decent team. They're still pretenders in my book. They're 1-1 for a reason.
And these guys have been taking advantage so far.
Oh. Now I gotta sneeze.
Under a minute to go in this third quarter as they come up first.
Oh, excuse me there.
Throw is Brady. Looking for Godwin and he's got him complete.
But I would not be surprised if Cincinnati pulls the upset. I would. Oh, that's a lovely. That's the roof. Is pure glass. Nice. That used to be. That's now a new thing. Now is that giant circle screen. But you know what? Should that be my upset of the week? I need an upset for the week. I'll do it. You know what? Cincinnati over Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh's in a bad mood, losing to the Raiders at home. They want redemption. But you know what? Cincinnati's been playing halfway decent. If they play smart football this Sunday, they're going to beat the Steelers. So that's going to be my upset pick of the week. Arizona at Jacksonville. Arizona. Come on, Jacksonville stinks. They're not Saxonville anymore.
On second down, it's Jones.
I'm not sure if that's going to be my lock of the week, but we're going to hold off. No, this will probably be my lock of the week anyways, coming up. So I'm going to take Arizona over Jacksonville. No, I mean, it already sounds like Urban Meyer might be one and done. He's going to run with the coattails between his legs and go back to college ranks or big kickoff or whatever. Nah, sorry. Finally can talk again, and then all of a sudden just, I need to stay hydrated more, I guess. Of course, I'm on water. At least the game's almost over. We're on good pace. Oh, offsides. This will be my lock of the week. Right now, Denver are pretenders in my book. And even if and or when they win this game, they're still going to be pretenders. Yes, they're 6 years removed from winning a Super Bowl. But that still doesn't mean anything. 6 years is a long time in the NFL, especially when the average career of an NFL player is like 3.5 years, if that. Intercepted! But is that going to be pass interference or roughing the passer? Roughing the passer! Are they going to show replay? Show replay. I want to see a replay of roughing the passer. Roughing the passer is horrible in this game.
An absolute disaster, and you hope their lockers are not right next to each other for the post game. Safe to say one is not buying the other dinner.
I like how the Rams offense is out there.
It's first and 10. Now Brady.
But anyways, Denver's taking on the Jets. Jets suck. They stink. If Denver If Denver loses, they deserve to lose. But yet, that's my lock of the week.
O.J. Howard there to make the grab. And the Bucs capitalize on the short field.
Okay, and then we got Miami. They are traveling to Las Vegas. I don't know what the status on Tua Tagovailoa is, but I know he was carted off. So, I mean, I should look into that. You know, best of luck, best of wishes, so forth. But Raiders are hot right now. They are certainly a contender.
And we remember, of course, all scoring plays need to be verified upstairs. And I think they're going to at least take a look at this. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How is the ball possessed while the feet are
That's a catch. I'll be surprised if they overturn it. Because he caught it and then got hit and his feet came up then. So you want fries or coleslaw with that meal? Oh, you're going hash browns. And there's the booze, like I said before. Here we go. I might be a little biased. We're up to this game. Tampa Bay at LA Rams. I know it's 31-17 right now, early in the fourth, but I think it's going to be a little closer. A lot of time left. I don't know about. Well, it's not really high scoring right now. Tampa Bay's lopsided, but I would have to go. I'm going with Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is going to be a true road test for them. That road environment that they didn't have to really deal. They did have to deal with it a little bit in the playoffs last year, but not to the extent that we're going to see this Sunday.
And following the touchdown now, it's Bradley Pinion on this play. From a couple yards deep,
and
out of the end zone.
I see like a 30, 24, 31, 35 at the most. I can see the offenses just lighting it up, but yeah, I can see both defenses shutting both teams down. So, but I'm going with Tampa Bay in this one. Then the last Sunday afternoon game, late game, Seattle at Minnesota. And you know what? This is Minnesota's first home game. Okay, they played the first two games on the road. They were at Cincinnati. They fell short. Could have won. Not going to say should have won. Could have. Had all the opportunities. They forced overtime, but just fell short because they coughed it up. Last week, they should have won. They had the ball last. They had everything set for a field goal. And he just missed it. Seattle. They took care of business week one. They put the Colts in their place. Colts kind of fought back, but no, Seattle took care of business. Last week, they could have won, even with the refs' help by the sounds of it. And Tennessee won on the last second field goal, if I remember correctly. So Russell Wilson and company are hungry, but they're going on the road. They're a totally different team on the road. And they're going into Minnesota. Minnesota is a hostile environment to play in. You know, may it be the Metrodome, may it be now US Bank Stadium. It's still a hard place to play in. It's a hard place to win. Just let me tell you about it. Especially with those rowdy Viking fans in there. And I gotta go with the home team here. I gotta go with Minnesota.
The Buccaneers offense ready to rock and roll again. Well, there are two scores on the plus side.
So I gotta go with the home team, even knowing right now on Yahoo about 79% of people think Seattle's going to beat Minnesota. But I got to go with the Vikings here. They're home. They easily could have been 2-0. They're pretenders at the moment of what their record says in my mind. Oh my God.
Good gain of 9 on first down.
But I mean, that could be considered an upset, I guess. But I'm sticking with Cincinnati as my upset of the week because 89% people say Steelers over Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's a road team. Not saying a home team can't be an underdog. Now we get to Sunday night, the game that I'll be watching for sure, and a lot is on the line here, even early in the season, especially just being week 3, when my team, my Green Bay Packers, head out west, another true road test, taking on the San Francisco 49ers, who are healthy, who are lethal, and who are dangerous. Yes, they too start on the road first 2 weeks of the season. They too are finally playing at home in front of the home crowd in the field for the first time in a long time. Last time they were healthy and played the Packers, they just spanked our asses. Not once, but twice. But that's all besides the point. Last year, yes, Green Bay had to go out to San Francisco. I think it was a Thursday night game. There was no fans in stands. They had like 50 people on IR. And Green Bay just took care of business and ran away with it. Now, San Francisco's healthy. Now, they're playing at home. They're playing under the lights. But I'm still picking the Packers. There's no way I'm not going to pick the Packers because I'm confident in the Packers. Even knowing this is one of the games I feel like they were going to lose at the start of the season. Even though I had them going 15-2, this is one of their 2 losses. But as a homer I am, I'm going with the Packers. Just looking at the stats. Looking at stats and how teams play are 2 totally different things. I'm sure if you look at the Vikings stats, like, oh man, they should be 2-0, but they're 0-2. Back in 2019, Green Bay was the worst 13-3 team ever. It's like, whatever. All at the end of the day that matters are the W's and the L's. And if you have more W's than L's, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter if you're minus 82 in the scoring differential. It doesn't matter if you've only scored 10 rushing touchdowns all season or 30 passing touchdowns. All that matters are wins and losses. Stats are individual successes that, for some people, it means a lot. Others, it doesn't. And the only thing that matters is how many rings are on your fingers. Just because you have more rings than everybody else does not mean you're the greatest of all time, or the best of all time, or the stupendous of all time.
So frustrating defensively. You're a play away from getting that football back here, down late, tough.
I'm hoping for a competitive game Sunday night at least. I'm hoping Green Bay's defense actually does something.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10.
They did get the first down. They get a touchdown here, this game's over. Let's be honest, this game's over if Tampa Bay gets a touchdown. But anyways, so yeah, I'm going with the Packers. But will not be
It could turn into a big play.
completely surprised if they lose.
They were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
And it's not if, it's by how much and how. Defense doesn't show up, and they lay an egg again, then, well, okay, we got to do something on that defensive side. Excuse me. And last but not least, we got Monday Night Football. We have the Philadelphia Eagles going to Big D to take on the Cowboys. I'm expecting a very competitive game. The Eagles, new coach, new touchdown. Oh, he got stopped. 40 for 49 for 400-something passing yards. Jeez, Brady.
This is all about diagnosis as a safety and being decisive because he saw it setting up in front of him.
But as Eagles, Cowboys, I'm expecting a super competitive game. I'm expecting. Oh, he's got him. He's getting him. Rip that ball out. No, he's. Oh. But I gotta go with the home team here. I expect Dallas to win.
Pressure from the defense, so the ball's got to come out fast. Got to get out of his hands quicker.
I'm expecting the Cowboys to win 27-24. Okay, yeah. Oh, sure.
Tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal. They run the counter.
Bernard. 3rd and goal at the 19.
Free from one tackle, but that's about all as he's taken down. Give him a couple.
Okay, where all this stuff?
A 4th down. Such a long drive here. 3 points. That would be a disappointment. But
so they got set for field goal. So they'll increase their lead by 17. So it's still a 3-possession game. If
now they don't even want to let them get a yard, do they? So in this spot,
ooh.
You remember what the coaches told us before the ball game? Any drive that ends with a kick is going to be okay with us, whether it's a punt, a field goal, or an extra point. Take the field goal right here.
That's good.
Succop's kick is good. And that will extend their lead even further.
Anyways. So we got 6:42 left. Rams are losing by 17.
I don't think there's any coming back from there.
But you know, normally I'd get on you for giving up on the game right here, but I do think you're right in this case. This late in the game, 2 scores is tough enough. 3, I'm with you. That seems out of the
What's this about Deshaun Watson? Oh, Tyrod Taylor suffered an injury and may not be available for Thursday. But if you think Watson is going to return to the team and save the day, you have another thing coming. Well, no, they're not. They're not going to activate Watson. No, reading this, I'm more confident that Carolina is going to win.
And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. And the LA offense ready for this next possession. And the complexion of this one has really changed a fair amount. That last field goal makes it a 3-score game, so they need points in a hurry with time dwindling in the 4th quarter.
Okay, whatever with that. Let's enjoy the rest of this game. You know what I mean?
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
Can Matthew Stafford make a great comeback?
Now Stafford.
Wide open. I mean, oh, there's a flag. That's going to be face mask.
Somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask.
So you tack another 15 yards on that. So you go from the 47 to the 32. So they're back in business. They get a touchdown. No, I mean, you don't need to go for 2 points at all in any of these scenarios. Unless you miss the extra point on
If they get a touchdown here and miss the extra point, then yeah, you gotta go for 2 in the next touchdown you make, if by the time.
Now factoring in the face mask, here's 1st and 10. Back to throw, Stafford.
Wide open. He's at the 10, so 1st and goal at the 9. 22 for 30 for 3. So many passing yards on both sides.
Defensive cap on right now, and I know they're saying don't give up any big plays now. They've controlled this game throughout, and all they want to do is see it through to the end. I think they let their guard down a little bit with that last completion. Sometimes when you're trying not to give up bigger plays, you don't react as fast as you should on other throws.
Oh, you don't have time to run. And he fumbles it. Just as I was saying, you don't have time to run the ball, okay? And then you fumble it. Well, let's see if we get a better camera angle. Was he down before? Oh, I think this is going to get overturned. It's got to get reviewed. Still, though, 40 for 49, 424 yards. If they don't review that last play, I'm going to be surprised. Yeah, there's the booth review.
With every potential turnover, they're going to take a second look at this just to make sure.
I think it's going to get overturned by the looks of it. Because knees down, then ball pops out.
And is the video convincing enough to overturn it?
A lot of factors here. Remember, you also need clear possession of the football afterwards. This is a tough one to
What do you mean? This is what, the 3rd review of the game?
So that challenge is successful.
So we're back to 2nd goal at the 8, so you actually gain a yard on that. But clock is ticking. You don't have time to run the ball. And you go back with him. And he falls short. 3rd and goal at the 3. Clock's going to get, it's going to be like 4.5 minutes left. Yes, you have all 3 timeouts. You have to go for the onside kick.
You don't have the time for something that develops slowly. It's got to be right at them if you're going to run the football. And if you're going to throw it, something quick, get it out of your hands in a hurry.
What was that? That's got to be a false. Yeah, false start. That was the center. The center just jumped up. So they moved back 5 yards. 3rd and goal at the 8. Back where they basically just were. Now they're turning into the Detroit Lions. The Los Angeles Lions.
As they're backed up now for 3rd and goal. Throwing is Stafford.
There we go. Touchdown. No. Oh.
Pass play good for 7, but it still brings up a 4th and goal.
Nice completion, nice.
You have to go for it. 4th and goal at the 1. Yes, I know you need a field goal.
What do you do here?
But you still need 2 touchdowns. But what's the point of the field goal if you need 2 touchdowns? Let's see what the computer says. They're sending out their kicker. That's showing they're sending out the kicker. Nope, they're going for it. Like I said, they got to. QB keeper. No handoff, and he walked. Let's go. I was gonna say, how? You just keep going. You don't flinch at that first defender. You're lucky that you shook him off.
And the Rams have got it back to a 2-score game here in the 4th.
See, next possession, if you get down the field, like you stop them, you get the ball back, either with the successful onside kick, or you make them go 3 and out, get the ball back. You march down the field, and you can't get anywhere near the end zone, yes, then you kick the field goal instead of going for it. Because that's where the field goal becomes involved. And now look, that missed field goal makes a difference at the moment. Because if he made that field goal on their opening possession, it'd be 34-27. So then they wouldn't necessarily have to go for the onside kick since they have all 3 timeouts. But they have to go for the onside kick here. Because it's 10 points and not 7. I still want to know what... Yeah, they're going for the onside kick. I still want to know what the purpose of the tape or sleeves or whatever on the back of the players' arms are. What's the whole point of that? Haven't asked anyone, haven't looked that up, but still would like to know. Because I never really saw that before until Jonathan Taylor for when he played at Wisconsin. And I mean, that stuff doesn't stay on. I mean, it stays on, but just like anything else, it's flimsy. You start sweating, it'll start peeling off in the corners, and it'll just come rip it off. But I mean, what's the purpose of it, and what's the reasoning for it? I mean, same question, different wording, but. So here we go, and Tampa Bay's throwing again. His 50th pass attempt, and he gets sacked.
He's going to be sacked. They sack him back right at the midfield stripe. Sean Robinson, too much to handle that time.
So the corners, the DBs are doing their job, playing tight. And he's just standing there in the pocket.
And what I'm focusing on is his toughness in the pocket. Because you mentioned the feast or famine part. He's played well in between being dumped on his back. But every time he's had a chance to throw the football, he's been impressive.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on second down. From midfield, here's Brady. Quick hitter here, it's complete. 8 yards on the completion.
Now it's 3rd and long. They don't really need to call timeout. They don't need to preserve the clock yet. Coaching adjustment impact. Strip ball aggressively. No crap. Because if you force a fumble here and recover your midfield, you only have to go about 50, 60 yards. But here we go. If they get a first down, they can take we know. Is he short? He's short by a yard. But it's field goal range, or will Tampa Bay go for it?
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then
he had to come back for that, and that's why he was short. So it is 4th and 1.
Stopped him in his tracks.
They have not used any of their timeouts. It's probably going to get to a 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning, yeah. And Tampa Bay's lined up to go for it. See, I don't know how I would have used my timeouts if I would have used them all up to leave like 3 minutes on the clock. No, they're trying a field goal attempt.
As we welcome you back, they've got a 4th down here in a game that looks to have been decided already.
No. It's good, okay.
Oh, he just did tuck it into the
shoot.
bottom of that left corner.
Sorry about that.
And that will extend their lead even further.
Feel good about that.
So they settle for just the 3, but clearly right now anything helps trying to salt this one away in the 4th.
Without a doubt, obviously a touchdown probably would have been the final nail to finish this thing off.
So that field goal is thrown out the window.
So, while it's not mission accomplished,
The Rams need to get 2 touchdowns now.
The punter Pinion now to kick this one away.
No, yeah, take the knee. This guy goes 75 yards. And we already saw a 93-yard touchdown pass from Stafford to Woods. So they could just turn it on a dime. And having all 3 timeouts left, that helps. Oh, and a sack right away. Timeout. You have to use a timeout. You got to stop the clock now. Because 20 seconds are going to fly off that clock, and this is what I hate about Madden. Where the clock is ticking, but they're not showing the hurry up. They be hurrying their butts up.
Clock continuing to roll as the Rams try to get going again.
They don't use their timeouts unless there's less than a minute left.
Stafford, and he'll find his target.
Oh no, now they use a timeout.
The Rams going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts as he'll talk it over here before what will be an important
third and 13, just like that. Just like that, 3rd and 13, and the guy gets a 35. Plenty of time, no pressure.
Now a desperation throw deep,
but there is a flag. Pass interference and spot foul. So is that the 50? Oh, at Tampa Bay's 49. Ooh.
Gives him the first.
And that's frustrating because you think you've taken them really deep into the count, haven't you? Instead, you've got to start all over. That can really, really be demoralizing.
Stafford on first down. Quick slant here to Woods.
Hurry up now. Hurry up. Tom Brady telling jokes.
This game not quite as good as the last, but still over 40 yards between the two. And we've reached the 1 minute
Yeah, I know
mark in this
how.
game.
Less than a minute. End zone right here. Out of bounds. You gotta get out of bounds. You can't stay in bounds, buddy. You gotta run to the out of bounds. I don't know why that's in that programming. But once there's less than 40 seconds, this game's going to be over if Tampa Bay gets the ball back. And they're just standing in a huddle.
Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
You gotta call timeout. I don't understand this with Madden. They're wasting so much time. Madden needs to fix this crap. Let's see. Type most of this in right now. Get the stats up, and nearly intercepted. So third and 2.
But he couldn't seal the deal.
And let's face it, this defense has had its share of struggles all game long, and they know that they can put it all behind them if they defend well here in the 2-minute drill. Excellent coverage right there to force the incompletion.
After the incompletion, here now, 3rd and 2. A shotgun snap for Stafford.
Now they gotta waste their last time out.
That's complete. The Rams going to be forced to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop it with 7
Well, I mean, for one, they would have to recover the onside kick if they get a touchdown here. But I don't think they're even going to get a touchdown. I think they're going to get stopped, and that's going to be the game.
Stafford looks to throw again. And that will be incomplete with a clock down now.
And this is the most frustrating, one of the frustrating things here. Poor time management on this drive. And I can tell you for a fact how the clock was managed on this final drive in real life would not have happened. You would have had spikes. They wouldn't have used most of their timeouts or all their timeouts on this drive.
Here's Stafford. The quick slant caught.
And he's short. That's the game.
But now it's 3rd and goal.
So there you have it. Tampa Bay gets the W. They go to LA. Excuse me. They show their dominance.
No doubt about it. They've got to go back and check
And that's pivotal.
and continue to get better.
getting this win out in Los Angeles. They have the tiebreaker over the Rams now if this holds up in real life. So when it comes to playoffs and seedings, that they're both number one, if they both win the division and are tied at the end of the season, well, Tampa Bay, they get the tiebreaker. They get the home field advantage. There's your difference maker first quarter. The Rams got nothing on the board. Tampa Bay jumped out to an early 14-0 lead. You see these highlights from Gronk. And that 93-yard touchdown pass to get the Rams back on the board.
So that'll do it for my partner.
Do I want to see these 399 passing yards? Not much rushing from either team. And the takeaway did not prove to be a difference maker. But there you go. There you have it. Tampa Bay 37, Los Angeles 24. So we'll see if Madden can bounce back. Next week, though, for Game of the Week, this is more of a not about revenge, but it's more of interesting. It might be another blow up, but we're gonna have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New England Patriots for the Week 4 matchup. Tom Brady returns to Boston and Foxborough to take on Bill Belichick and his former team. So we'll see how that goes in the upcoming weeks. But thanks for watching. I guess if you like and subscribe, be my guest. But until next time, adios, muchachos.